Hello and welcome back to the Kids Coding Playground channel, guys. So today we will work on the second part of this Halloween matching game. So far, let's just go over the code. On the first video, we were just setting up the list for these number lists, the game matching number list, and then we're setting the sprites. And this is just the bunch of costume that we had in our on our sprite here, this different costume here, those different custom name. We just take that and we just plug it into this code here, adding the sprite name. Then we have prepare game where we found the six sprite that we were going to use as a pair to match, and also the 6 pair of number that we're going to set up for the sprite. So that's where we have left off. So if you have missed anything, just kind of pause the video and get the code. Okay, so after that we had some in the bottom where we broadcast the instruction just to start the game, and then we call the prepare game. Prepare game is this block of code where we're finding the pair. Now we're going to work on this one called setup game. So let me run the game one time for you guys so that you could see what we have so far. So let's save this, let's run this again. So what happened is the cat's gonna talk, and then it will populate the list. So let me show you the list here. So once the cat runs, you see this pair, right? So we are going to put this pair with the costume. So these are the 6 pair, 1 to 12, and then these are the 6 different sprite. Okay, all right, got that so far. All right, what we're going to do is here where we call the setup game. We have to grab a block here. We'll call it setup game. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay, so we are going to use a loop again. So before we can use the loop, since we're using the index earlier, we have to reset it back. Scratch use index begins at 1, so that's why we are using 1 here, reset to 1. Other programming tool index like Java, those start at 0. So for Scratch is 1. Okay, so we're resetting to 1. Then we will use repeat until loop. Okay, and then we're gonna use the operator here, greater than. And then we are going to drag in this index here. So what we want to do is we will want to loop through the list of the sprite that we had, like this sprite name. This list, we are going to loop through this list and get the first item. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to get this. We are going to get the list. So to get to the list, you have to call the linked. So linked of game. Sprite list, game name sprite list. So if you click on this, you see 6. Since you have 6 items here, you get 6. So the loop will go 6 times. The 7th time it goes, it will be bigger. So every time you have to make sure you increase the index. If not, it will go into an infinite loop. So we will have to increase the index later. What we have to do is we are going to see a called match sprite. Basically, this is the sprite that is going to be used for match, and we have to pick the item from the list. So to pick the item from the list, we're picking this game sprite list name, which is this, and instead of 1, we are going to use the index. So it will pick the first one, second one, third one, and so on. So let's say if I use this, can understand a little bit better. So let's say I have this, right? So let's say I say match name. So what you guys can do, right, if you try to debug your code, make sure you use like some kind of say, something like that, so that way you can debug your code better. And also you can like make sure you open the variable you want, right? You can have the variable here. So let's say if I run through this, so you see it picks the first one, and then it will say the second one, and so on. So since we don't have the increase the index, right? You see it doesn't change. So what you have to do is say change the index by 1. So now if I run this, you'll see the cat, it will talk quite fast, more than 1 second, so it will name all the item here. So you see the bat, the clown, scarecrow, the toad, the Halloween ghost, and then the whatever the last one is. Okay, alright, so I hope you understand that so far. So we have to take this back out, we don't need that. So now we have this. What we also need to do is, so we need to set the matching number. So we have the matching sprite, now we have to get a matching number. So we're gonna use this one, matching number list. So this is the same thing, it'll just pick the first one, right? How we doing? So we pick back and it will pick this. Since the both are 6, so it's using those one loop will be okay. So they will just use, so we'll get the first one, second one, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, like that. Okay. Alright. So what we're going to do, now we have these, we're gonna have to make a new block. We are going to go call setup sprite. So this will be a custom block, or take in 1 input. You can name it like whatever the input it is. We are going to send in the matching number to find. So we are going to make this a matching number that we will be passing in. That match number. Okay. So don't use so you can pass in boolean or use a number or text. Don't use the boolean one. Okay. Okay, so we created this block here. So this block will be somewhere here. We'll just put it here for now. We're gonna have to code this. What we want to do is we are going to call this block. So you can put it here, and we want to send the matching number to it. Go to here, send the matching number. We'll take this out for now. So what we're going to do is we are going to send in the matching number. So one type 5. Okay. This key here, this thing is called pipe. Okay, or the straight line. Okay. All right. And then we have to change the index. Put that back in. Okay. So this is how the setup code looks like. Let me kind of move it over here. Okay, now we will work on this one. I think we need more space for this guy. Okay, so how do we get the number, right? There's a couple of ways. So let's say if you're making a game that's only have, let's say, only not go up to 10, right? So let's say you only have like this, like only 3 letters. Then what you can do, you exactly know what it is, right? So what you can do is you do this. You can say we are going to use this broadcast. So we are going to use this broadcast 1. So this is the first pair, and we're gonna call this broadcast 2. This will for the second pair. So what you can do is this, but this is not the right way. I'm just showing you how we can pick it up, but we're gonna do it the other way to break it up, since you have actually multiple number here. So the one way, if you're not doing more than more than 8 boxes, then this is fine, right? If you have more than 8 boxes, then you actually have to break it. So, oops, sorry. So let's do this. So what you can do is you can pick the first letter and the third letter, right? Since this is the first letter is 1 and third letter is 5, so you exactly know. So what you can do is you can drag this here, drag this here. So what you can do, let's say I am going to open my so again, to test, right? Always you can use a save. That way you can test your stuff. Okay, every time you do your code, you can test it. So it's kind of like debug or log, right, in real coding. So you can join this thing. So you can join, let's say, broadcast 1. We're trying to break this number that passing in, okay? And broadcast number 2, where is it? Okay. For now, I mean, you can put another operator here, I guess, to make it look better. I mean, this is for just testing. So we are going to put a space here. Okay, a couple of space, okay? So what happens if I run this? You'll see. Okay, so you will see the cat will say 1 space 5 8 space 7. So let's run this. So I am going to run this right here. Just click on it to run. So this will call this. So you see it finds the number, right? But you see what happened here when it gets to 11 and 12? That will not work, right? Because the position first and third letter are not the number. The third letter here is actually a pipe. So this will work if you have only 8 boxes for matching. But if you have more than 8 boxes, this will not work correctly, right? You can see, right? 1 and 5 is fine, 8 and 7 is fine. But when you get to 11 and 12, you see that it messed it up, right? So that's why this will not work. So what we have to do is we are going to have to break this matching number. We are going to have to create another custom block that helps to break this up. Okay, all right. So we'll go back to my block. Make a new block called break input. So basically, this will break the input, whatever we are sending it in. Okay. So let's put them right next to here. So like this. So what we're going to do, we're not going to do it like this. I'll show you later. Let's work on this break input first. Okay, so we have to go to variable. We are going to use the index. So break index will set it to 1, right? Since Scratch use 1. Okay, all right. And then we are going to reset some variable first. We are going to say current character. We'll delete the 0. We'll make it blank. And what we are also going to do is, instead of over here that we set, we are going to do it over here. So we will just reset this broadcast 1 to a blank one, duplicate broadcast 2. Okay, so we have 2 broadcasts. We're resetting it. Now what we are going to do is we are going to repeat until. Okay, where's my repeat? Repeat, okay, right here. Okay, repeat until. So we will try to find the character. Okay, repeat until a character which we are going to use to see what is the character when we're getting it. When we do the loop inside this input. Just if you guys have problem, you can look at the other list video where we are finding the the custom duplicate item in the list and all that. It will show you how to break also, but this is a different method. This is actually breaking the word. So what we can do is, okay, we are going to use this one. So repeat until the current character is equal to the pipe character. So we will try to repeat until this point. So we'll pick up like 11. So if it's 11 is next to each other, right? 11. So it will not stop. It will stop only when you get to the pipe character. Okay. All right. You so say set. Okay. This one you say set the current character. So how do we get the current character? So we have the index, right? So we have to use this. So the letter of the input, and then we are going to use this break input index. So what we cannot use this index because this index is used by the other code here, and then we don't want to mess it up. Okay, that's why that's why I created another one, a break input index, just for this custom block only. All right. Okay, now you find the character. So let's say the break input index is 1. So let's say I set this to 1. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say this is 1. Okay, let me remove this for now. We'll do it like this. I think it's a little bit better. Let me put another code. I think I cannot show you yet. Let me put another set of code here. That will be better. So let's put this back in. Okay, and then we'll say not. You have to use this not operator. We'll do a little bit more code before I demo it. Okay, and then we have to use this. So just like this on top, I guess. We'll duplicate this guy. So if it's not this one, what we want to do, we want to join them together, okay? So you say set. Okay, this is broadcast, so this is the first one. We'll just use broadcast. And we are going to use the join, since if they are not this, so basically if it runs to 11, right? 11 is not the pipe, you're going to try to join the 1 and the 1 together, okay? So what you have is you are going to join the broadcasting message 1, okay, with the current character. Okay, so whatever the current character, I'll run through this a couple of times, you'll understand a little bit better. And make sure you have to increase your index, okay? So change the break index by 1, okay? So let's see what happened right now. Okay, we are going to put in a say here, okay? And we are going to say the variable of broadcast 1 for now, okay? We'll do it for 1 second. Okay, so let's save this. Let's go back up over here a little bit. Let me zoom out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I am going to call this guy. So the setup, so setup sprite, we have this, right? So we're not going to use this anymore. We'll trash this, trash that. This guy will actually call this break the input, okay? And we are calling this guy. So this function is calling this function. We need to do more stuff here. So for now, just saying this function call this function, okay? And this function is called by this one. So this number 15 will be passed over here. This 15 again will be passed over here, and then we're trying to break that one out, okay? So when I run this game, you will see 1, 8, 2, 3, 11, 4. Okay, if it's right. So to test it, you don't have to run the whole game again. Just click on this. So you see 1, 8, 2, 3, 1, 11, right? You see that? You see that? 11. So you see that because of the 1, right? It's not a number. I mean, not a pound. So not a pipe character. So it was joined that it becomes 11. Okay. So at the end, right? At the end, we'll have each number at once. Okay. Let's just try this. Okay, I hope you guys understand. If not, just kind of watch the video again, I guess. So I'll try to explain the next part. So now we have picked up the first number, we're trying to get the second one. So what we have to do is, since we were using this break input, right, input index, we need to reset it, okay, before we call the loop again. So what you have to do is call the set it back to 1, right? Since scratch is going by 1, we'll set it back to 1, and then we are going to repeat until again. This time the conditions are a little bit different. So we are going to use the operator here. Use the greater than. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Here we will have to find the length of the input. So we're going to go to the end. Okay. Sorry, the length of the input will go to here. So we'll get this guy here. So what is the length of the input? So length of the input, basically, you know, whatever the input that's coming in, right? Whatever that's passed in here, we're trying to get that length. Okay, it could be like 3 or 4. Like this case will be 3, right? So this case, this length or the input will be 5, right? So whatever that is. And we are going to compare this with the break input index. We just reset it to 1 here. And we are going to reuse this set current character again. So we're trying to find the character. Okay. So now we want to find the break index. Oh, I made a mistake over here. It's not set, since actually what we're going to do is at this point we picked up the first number. What we're going to do, when we hit this pipe character, we stop. What we need to do is we're gonna move the index past this point. So what you have to do is you say change. So be sure to not get that corrected, okay? So you say change this by 1. So we are going to move the index by 1. Now the position of the index is now at this position. So now we'll get whatever the n is. It's gonna create that as the second broadcast. Okay? Alright. So you can get the letter. So letter of this, of the input. And then we are going to grab one more here, set. The second broadcast, we are going to use the join. So make sure you reset that in the beginning, so every time it goes, it doesn't have anything. So when you're joining something to itself, nothing, then it becomes that thing only, right? So that's why make sure you reset that. If not, your number will go wrong. Okay, so you're gonna join this. For the first time when you join, it will be blank, and we are joining with the current character. Okay, and then we are going to change this index, the break index again by 1. So now when it picks up, let's say you're over here, it finds the this bar, right, the straight bar. What it does is it will move this index 1, so past the straight bar, then it will repeat until it gets to the end, so it will pick up this 5. But for this case, is when you pick up 1, it's not the end yet. What it's going to do is it's going to go all the way to the end, since it says greater than the length of the input, right? So let's say you're here and then you want to go all the way over here, so we'll go on next and we'll pick up 2 as well, and then we'll join together, so we'll make 12. So this is what it is right now. So at the end of this, right, you actually have 2 numbers. You have a broadcast, so let's display this right now. So to test, right, so what you guys can do, you're gonna grab 2 of this, go get the variable. You can say broadcast 1 and broadcast 2. So at the end of this, what we want to achieve is we are going to get 1, 5, 8, 7, 2, 9, 3, 10, 11, 12, 4, 6, right? So maybe we can join them together, I guess, maybe faster, right? We don't want to see too many messages. You can join them right here. I should have not deleted my old one, so I can show it. Anyway, I deleted. So let's just use anything you want, right, to in between just to see it, right? Broadcast 1 and broadcast 2. Okay, so now when we run this, you'll see 1:5. I mean, this is just a delimiter, right? Doesn't matter. I'm just showing you that you have each of these podcasts will have a number itself. Okay, all right. So let's go back over here. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll go back here. I'm gonna click on this again. This will call this, and this one will call this, and it will break the number for us. All right. So you click on it. You see 1, 5, 8, 7. 2, 9, 3, 10, 11, 12, 4, 6, right? Cool. So now we have all the number that we actually need. So we can broadcast this guy to set him up, right? Okay. Okay, for now, I'm going to create some, I'll put these guys over here so you can see a little bit better, okay? What I'm going to do is I am going to hide this guy for now. Let me go back to the cat. I'm going to duplicate this guy. Duplicate. I'm going to put him over here. Second one, just for showing purposes, okay? All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to broadcast this guy and then set him. So let's use some if statement here. Okay. You say if, and then we have to use this operator here. Okay, let's zoom in again. So you say if, so we have the broadcast, right? So we'll use this variable, say broadcast 1 is equal to 1. So that's the first sprite. What we're going to do is since in Scratch is not easily to pass like variable from one sprite to another. not like other programming language, you can actually call different method and different class, right? So this one doesn't have like that. So you get in order to communicate to this one, you're gonna have to broadcast it over. So what we're going to do is we're gonna use whatever Scratch provide for us, which is broadcast. Don't use this broadcast. You have to use the broadcast and wait, because we want to set up this sprite every time before that. If you don't, then it will be having a problem. You use broadcast, what it does is gonna go through the loop real quick, and then it's trying to fire off all this thing, and before this guy's even able to turn the right sprite, this one will already go on to the next number, and then it will have a problem. All the thing will go incorrectly. So that's why you want to use this thing called broadcast and wait. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so what you can say is set up sprite 1, okay, and wait. And let's broadcast another one. If the broadcast is 2, we are going to say set up sprite number 2. Okay, so if the broadcast is 1, we'll set up this guy. If the broadcast is 2, we'll set up, if 1 is this one, broadcast number 2 will broadcast to this one. So whatever that number 1. So whatever the number 1 will set up the number 1, number 2 will set up the second one. But similarly, we have to do the same thing for the broadcast number 2, right? So we'll duplicate this code. I will just show one set, and then we'll work on the next set next time. Okay, so this one will change it to broadcast 2. So because it could be the reverse also, right? So that's why you have to do it 2 different times. One is for the broadcast 1, one is for the broadcast 2. Okay, but broadcast 2, same thing. If it's 1, we'll set up 1, 2, we'll set up 2. Okay, all right. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to go into this code, and we'll do a little bit of code. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go in here and say when I receive, let me zoom in. When I receive set up sprite 1, so this is the first one. What I'm going to do is I say switch custom. So switch custom. So since you remember we picked up the name, right? We took that and we put it in the match sprite name. So what you can do is get this match sprite name. Where is it? Here. So we'll put that in here. So what it does is when it receives this message to set up, whatever that is, whatever variable that contains, whatever value contained in that variable will be set to this custom. So let's copy this over here. So here instead of 1, right, we have to use 2, right? We'll use 2. Okay, then this is the second one. And you can position your stuff, in the position you like. For me, here, let me put him like around here for number 2. I'm going to say -60 and 120. I think that's the that's the location I have, so that is on that. And then this one will do the same thing. Okay. And this one is we are going to use -180 and 120. Okay, just in case it miss, we just put it there. Okay, so what happened is if I run this, if I run the cat code, right? Let's zoom back out. So when I run this, the cat will go from here. Will set up the 2 pair, and then the sprite name. Then it will call the setup. Setup will call this code. This code will call this to break the input. The input will come back and let this guy know what the broadcast is, and it will set up the sprite. Okay. All right. So let me run this. So after I run this, you should see that these 2 guys will have something. Okay, that match this list. Okay. Let's run this. Save it. Okay. We are going to try to run this. I'll show you how it works. Okay. Let's run it again. Let me run the stop button. So this will change to whatever that number 1 and 2 is. So number 1 is what? Number 1 is the lollipop. So you see lollipop. And number 2 is what? Number 2 is the zombie something. Okay, number 8, which is this. So as you can see, right, we see number 1. Number 1 is the lollipop, so which is correct. So as you can see, it should be 032 lollipop. So we go here, go to costume, it switched it to 032 lollipop, right? And this one, number 2 is what? The 008 zombie, right? So you can see 008 zombie, right? So it actually picked up the right one. So it knows that, okay, for the sprite number 1, we are going to set the lollipop. For the sprite number 2, which is over here, we're going to set with the zombie. So let me run the code again, you'll see it again, it will change. Okay, run it again. So clean up this list, and then it started setting up the list. After that, it displayed this. Okay, so what do we have here? You see 1 and 2 are the what? This monster here, 14. So just so happen 1 and 2 are the pair. That's why you see that they have a matching pair, right? This 14 monster. That's why you see 1 and 2 has the matching pair. So it doesn't mean that they're next to each other will have the matching pair. It could be some other way around, right? Just so happen that the match is for that. So let me run it again. I hope you guys understand this. So once we get the pair, we broadcast a message, we'll find the pair. So now 1 should have this spider, right? And then the 2, what is it? The other one is 2 should be candy cane. So you can see, right? 1 is the spider, and number 2 here is the candy cane. All right. So I hope you guys understand what we did here. We try to break the number, right? Break the input. So from here, once we get the game set up, we get the sprite name, we get the matching number. We call this one to set up. This one calls this break. So the break will break the input that comes in, find the pair. Once that is done, so what we can do is we can delete this because this is actually slowing it down. So now if we run it again, it should be very quick, and then it will call the broadcast and it will set it correctly. So now let me run this real quick. It should be quick. So you see this, once this is populated, it takes some time. You see, it changed it immediately, right? We took the say out, right? Okay, so I hope you guys understand. We'll see you guys in the next video. Next video we will try to complete all of them, and we will work on the covering each of these sprites. Okay, thank you very much. See you guys next time. Bye bye.